Yes. How long did it take you? From Plumtree. Yes. It took us how many days? We left on Monday. Okay. Yesterday or last week? No, last week. Last week. That would be really fast. Well done, guys.
Of the hosts, the Zimbabwe Council of Churches, and on behalf of the guys that are taking part in the relay, who are the cyclists themselves, represented by the captain, Thomas. So without wasting much of your time, I will start off by asking Mr. Manyanga to give us a bit of background information as to what this is all about, especially for the benefit of those who might not have an idea of what's
coordinating the Zimbabwe leg of a relay that is taking place in 9 countries. It started in Mozambique and went through South Africa and Botswana, and now we are on the Zimbabwe leg. The reason why we have undertaken to do the cycling caravan is that we have COP21 that is coming up later on in the year, and because of COP21, there are issues of climate change that the organizations that are participating in the We Have Faith campaign felt should be taken very seriously at the discussion that is going to be happening in Paris. And because of that, we then say we need to involve the affected people, those that are affected by climate change. And those that are affected by climate change are the ordinary people, you and I. And we felt we need to also participate through petitioning. And for us to highlight the issues that have to go on with the climate change, we thought cycling would be a better way, where we are saying we are traveling in a manner that is green, meaning we are not polluting at all, but at the same time we are also bringing awareness to a lot of people right across the region who are going to see the cyclists cycling through, and at the same time also collect the signatures of those that we would have explained to that would want to participate and send their petitions to France for consideration by the world leaders. So in a way of the background, now we are in Zimbabwe. We started off in Plumtree, that is where we took over the baton from Botswana, and we are going to cycle right through to Kariba and hand over to Zambia. So in a way of the background, this is where we are now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manyanga. Maybe now we could hear from one of the cyclists, the captain, Thomas. Right? How grueling the ride has been from Plumtree, and speaking on behalf of the other cyclists, you can have the floor and address the journalists.
Okay, thank you. Well, as has been addressed, I'm Thomas Klassen, I'm the team captain. So basically we started off in Botswana, on the Botswana border. We took the baton, and we took off to Bulawayo, that's our hometown. That was 100 and some odd Ks, 110 Ks, and through that, there was some really growling wind. And that's all caused through climate change. We weren't supposed to expect such a wind. It was supposed to blow us the other way. So we came through, and thanks to our team efforts, we all put some efforts together, our so-called formations, helped us get through to Bulawayo. From Bulawayo, we proceeded straight through to, we stepped over and went through to Gweru. Gweru was another 100 and some odd Ks, and it was quite tough. But as it goes on, all I would like to say is we're in an area now. It hasn't been easy, and it hasn't been, it's not easy, but it's a challenge. And I believe climate change is challenging our lives every day. So I would like to say to everyone, let's just keep our hopes high. We would like to keep us in prayer so we can make it through to Zambia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Given the fact that France are hosting COP21 sometime at the end of the year, we thought it ideal to invite His Excellency, the French Ambassador to Zimbabwe and Malawi, Mr. Laurent de Laos, to give us a few words. Mr. Ambassador said,
Thank you very much, Gilbert. Thank you, everyone. I want to congratulate the organizers of this event. I want to congratulate our worthy cyclists for their effort to bring attention to the climate and to bring attention to the conference on climate in Paris at the end of this year. This is a wonderful opportunity just for us as the chairman country of the conference to engage with the people and the media in Zimbabwe. There will be many other occasions, either directly or through our partnership with the European Union. We are implementing a strategy called the Walk to Paris, and today is an important step on that walk to Paris. Zimbabwe is severely confronted by climate change. I don't know if you've been to Kariba and witnessed the level of the lake. There might be a challenge for electricity production in Kariba in the coming years if things continue the way they are. You've seen the irregularity of the rain pattern in the country, the drought, the temperatures. Zimbabwe is one of the victims of climate change in Africa, and Zimbabwe has to work and to understand that climate change is not a threat anymore. That's the good news. Climate change is not a threat. The problem is that there's a bad news. Climate change is a reality. Climate change is today. It's not in the future. And we need to address it. That is the purpose of the 21st Conference of the Parties, as it is known officially, in Paris, end of November, beginning of December. This is the 21st annual conference on the follow-up of the United Nations Conference on Climate. And the ambition this year is to adopt what we call a Paris Alliance for the Climate. It is very important to do it today, because every day is a lost day and the temperature on the planet is rising. And we have no alternative. As the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has put it, there is no plan B because there is no planet B. If we continue this way, life will not be possible on our planet in the future. So we have to find an agreement. We have to find it the quickest possible, and the Paris conference in December is the right time to do so without wasting too much time. There are 4 objectives in this Paris Alliance for the Climate. One is a universal binding agreement linking all countries in order to reduce the warming of the planet below 2 degrees Celsius. The second one is for each individual country to present what we call their INDCs, which are national contributions to this effort to mitigate climate change. Zimbabwe is preparing its own contribution with the support of the French government. We have financed technical expertise to help the government of Zimbabwe prepare its contribution. This contribution, I understand, is now being finalized and approved by the political authorities and should be presented soon to the conference. The third aspect of the Alliance of Paris is, of course, a financial aspect. How do we help poorer countries adapt to climate change? The objective is to develop $100 billion a year of funding by 2020 to help compensate and mitigate climate change. And the last and important aspect is what we call the agenda for solutions, the idea being to benchmark in a way positive examples of changing, of adapting, of resisting climate change from all over the world. Some Zimbabwean non-governmental organizations will be invited by the French government to go to Paris and contribute in that. There will also be companies, of course, represented. The Paris Climate Conference at the end of the year will unite 40,000 delegates from all over the world. It is one of the biggest conferences ever, and it is really, really important. We will, of course, communicate a lot more with this. I wish to engage with all of you. I think that the fact that you are here shows that you are actors, you are stakeholders in this environment effort, and so let us continue this relationship. I will leave my details with you, and we will organize as the French Embassy with our partners other conferences. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for your invitation.
Thank you very much.
I'm representing Friends of the Environment as well as Nyaradzo Group, because Nyaradzo was the first friend of the environment and invited other corporates to come and join. So we now have a membership of about 30 different corporates that support Friends of the Environment from within Zimbabwe. Friends of the Environment mainly focuses on tree planting as we fight climate change scourge and deforestation. Our main focus is tree planting. We've since established 15 tree seedling nurseries across the country in different provinces. And for awareness purposes, we do have annual walkathons where we walk across districts in different provinces. And this year we are going to be walking from Bulawayo to Plumtree, a distance of 100 kilometers. And the walk is also green, just like cycling. We'll be walking to raise awareness on the climate change scourge and also engaging communities on how best we can fight the threat. Okay, it's no longer a threat as such, but as said earlier, it's now reality. So we are going to be engaging communities during the walk to see how best we can then fight the climate change scourge as well as fighting deforestation, and we'll also be planting trees along the way. So we are also inviting some of you to come join us, a walk over 3 days, 100 kilometers from Bulawayo to Plumtree. And for this particular occasion, we've donated 1,000 trees that are going to be planted along the way as the cyclists proceed on their way from Harare to Kariba. During the cycling period, only 200 trees are going to be planted, because you find that tree planting in Zimbabwe is seasonal. If you plant a lot of trees right now, they may suffer from moisture stress, so the rest of the trees will be planted at the onset of the rainy season. So in total, 1,000 trees are going to be planted in commemoration of the cycling from Maputo all the way up to Nairobi in Kenya. That's our contribution. Thank you.
My car from Chekutu to Harare. And I could see their joy and sense of accomplishment when we got to Harare. And I kept saying to them, no one can take that joy away from you. And thank you so much for this initiative. Just to, I'm sure Gabriel maybe will talk about it, just to highlight that this has been a journey. For Norwegian Church, we started this in 2011. And in 2011, we had a group of about 300 young people who were in a caravan all the way from Nairobi to Durban, because we wanted to mobilize. This was an African COP, and we wanted very active African participation. So these young kids were on buses stopping pretty much in the same countries, but just ending in Durban, having a lot of mobilization activities, collecting petitions, and we came up with 200,000 signatures, which were handed to the chair of UNFCCC, Christina Figueres, by Bishop Tutu at the official opening of the COP17 in Durban, because that was our aim. And we still have the same demands that you can see now, and this is what our campaign is pushing: delivering a fair, ambitious, and strong climate actions at a level adequate to stop climate change and keep global warming to well below 2 degrees. And I think you can already hear some discussions around 1.5 even before we can get to 2 degrees. And we would like, as the ambassador was saying, to scale up public finance and to see how communities can actually access these funds, because it's one thing to have the funds, but accessing them is also another thing. So this is quite an initiative. The young people will hand over to Zambia, and it goes on, and we will have a conference in Nairobi. What are the dates, Deborah?
11th to 13th of November.
11 to 13 of November, we are going to have a big conference, Pan-African conference in Nairobi, leading up to Paris.
Actually, there are three.
There are three conferences. Okay, Deborah maybe can get the details. She's based in Nairobi. She came from Nairobi.
Including one here in Big Falls, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, she can give the details. But on my own behalf and on behalf of Norwegian Church, and having supported this journey, and we will continue to support it, I would just like to really thank each one of you, and especially our partners in Zimbabwe, whom we have worked with for so many years, Zimbabwe Council of Churches. And again, being Zimbabwean myself, I'm so proud of this team. And I can safely say my country was represented and my country had its own contribution towards COP21. And to the ladies, the two ladies there, I think, raise your hands, Vanessa. They have been with the team, leading them all the way from Plumtree, and it's not easy. It's been cold, it's been windy, it's been raining, it's been everything, but they have really kept together with the team. Thank you so much. My very humble appreciation to all of you, and thank you all of you for supporting us. Please, as you are saying, continue to pray for the team as the journey. It's a long journey, and the challenge, we are living it every day. We cannot afford to sit and do nothing. Each little contribution, each individual contribution will add on to a bigger effort, and we will be able to address this. It is men made, it can be men unmade. Thank you.
For the campaign. I'm based in Nairobi, but we have the secretariat is based in Zambia, in Lusaka at the Church Council of Zambia. So in Nairobi, with the cycling in all the countries from Maputo, at the culmination we'll be having 3 main conferences. There'll be the Pan-African Parliamentarian Summit, which is being hosted by the Kenyan Parliament at the UN headquarters in Nairobi. And then we'll be having the Pan-African Faith Leaders Summit, bringing together faith leaders from across the continent to Nairobi. And we'll be having an African People's COP, which will be bringing together communities, young people and women to discuss issues of climate change, running concurrently, and hopefully we will have some more specific demands out of these different groups that they would want out of Paris. So thank you very much for hosting the campaign in Zimbabwe, and we look forward to seeing some of you in Nairobi, and we look forward for a good outcome out of Paris in December.